What's up, YouTube? So today we're jumping right into it. Right now I'm taking the crank position sensor out because I posted a video up on YouTube a couple days ago and had a couple comments saying they think it's timing related. So what I'm thinking is the crank position sensor went bad, throwing off the timing. It's getting the wrong spark and fuel at a time because the idle will sputter. Compression's good across the board. I could throw a timing light on it. I just don't have one. So right now I'm just pulling the crank position sensor. I'm going to hit it with some quick cleaner. I'm wondering if it just got soaked in oil. I already have one on order. It'll probably be here tomorrow, but I figure not doing anything anyway. So gonna clean that up. I also found, which I feel like an idiot, but I bought ABS wheel speed position sensors for this thing like forever ago, and I never put them in. So I did one on the rear a couple weeks ago, but what I'm just realizing is that one was out of the package when I found it. So I'm wondering if it's the old bad one for this one, because that didn't fix my ABS issue, which is why I started this whole ECU cleaning, which led to nightmares. But I'm going to throw those in. They're not going to do anything since the car's not running right now, but once it does start running, hopefully we don't have ABS lights, and hopefully the car will rev all the way out to $7,000. I'm not super hopeful on that, but we'll see. So this is pretty universal across cars. The crank position sensor usually leads down from a little power source up by the intake, snakes down the front. Sometimes, depending on what kind of car it is, it'll snake along the side and you don't have to deal with taking apart the intake. This car you do. But it's nice and simple. It's right there. Mine had a 10mm bolt in it. What I read online was supposed to have a 5mm Allen head. Don't really see how that's going to make a difference, so I'm probably just going to leave the 10mm one in. Car ran perfect before all this. So going to clean that up. I'm probably just going to spray the whole car down with degreaser, because I was trying to clean it up. Got it looking pretty good, but they're up in this area. I didn't realize under the oil filter, which is making me kind of wonder if the oil filter housing gasket isn't great. It's pretty grimy, but I did clean all this up, which was looking pretty similar to that. So maybe it was just a leaky valve cover. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope that's what it was, because I really do not like the smell of cleaning chemicals. But under the car, I already cleaned everything over here, because I wanted a solid ground the other day. So the only part that's really left is in that little wedge area. So when I have the intake manifold off, I might dig down in there, see what's going on. I doubt I'm going to do the oil filter housing gasket, because I think those are a pain, but we'll see what happens since I'm going to already have 75% of the top apart. All right, so I don't know if you can really see it. Whole yard is super hazy. I just seafoamed the car, so let's see if I can get this zoom to work. Still got some smoke coming out of the tips, but it did seem to help with making it so that it was holding a consistent as you were revving it. I used about half the can, which I believe is what it recommended. It said do a long spray, depending on engine size, 2 to 4 ounces, 12 ounces, so probably used about 6. Ran it through the system, got the fuel additive in there. Seems to be running pretty all right. I still definitely think that it is a crank position sensor issue, because as soon as I cleaned that up, got everything else around it all cleaned up, looking pretty good there. One other thing I was noticing as I was revving it, I don't know if it was oil or if it was exhaust from over here making a little bit of smoke. It kind of looked like exhaust just from as I was revving it. It seemed to be with the revs is when it would go up. I guess I could double check. It doesn't. Everything looks tidy up here. I know I got to do something to secure that, but for right now it's not moving. So Gotta see what's going on up here. Maybe I have like a little exhaust leak somewhere. I don't know how hard it is to do these headers, but I feel like that's gonna be a pain. Actually, it's not awful, it looks. But yeah, so I should have the new actual crank position sensor here, I think tomorrow. I'm gonna let the car sit for a little bit because that's what it recommended, and then start it back up in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm probably gonna throw the electric fans on. So I'll walk you through that real quick. All right, so I have a CA tuned radiator on here. It's the stock specifications, I believe. What's nice is that it's full aluminum. I know some people don't like that, some people do. I figure since it has OEM hoses, I don't know, I feel like the hoses are going to fail before it makes like a head gasket fail, because some people say with the full aluminum expansion tanks, what's nice about the plastic is that it's the weak point. But with this, since there is no real weak point, I think it's going to be within the hoses. I'm gonna stick to that logic, hope that that's how it rolls. But I wanted to show you a cool little trick. So if you go to any auto parts store, you can pick up one of these, which is a light bar / fan harness. And what's cool is that it's got a nice little 30 amp fuse in here. It's got a relay block, so you don't have to worry about lighting your car on fire, and you don't have to do any wiring yourself. Literally all you do is hook this up to power, hook this up to ground and this up to power, red and black wires obviously. Secure this somewhere nice. This is a second plug if you ever wanted to use it. I'm only using a single fan because it's a Flexolite 1200 CFM fan. Moves like twice as much as the stock fan clutch. So I know people are going to cry that I'm doing an electric fan and they say that the stock one's better, but it's proven not to be. So yeah, I'm going to put this on. You might notice right here, it's not going to be hanging over the edges of the radiator. I have two little slats of metal somewhere over there. I know it's a mess, that I'm going to end up using to make a nice little surrounding for it. But wasn't the, main goal when I built this. I built this, I think 2 or 3 days before the drift event because, let's see, the fan clutch, which is chilling down there, 25 years old, and I don't really want to send a fan through a new radiator. So I'm going to do the electric fans, toss that in real quick, and then what's super cool, where is it? All it is this little switch, and it disconnects somewhere down there, I think, and then you can run it right through the firewall. So makes it nice and easy, and then you have electric fans. All right, so I should have time-lapsed it, but I got everything hooked up. I just didn't run this through the firewall yet, but fan power. Cool. So I'm just gonna go over the wiring real quick so that if you want to do the same thing, it'll take you about 10 minutes because I think it took me about 8. Cool. So first off, comes with this stock connector. I'm not really sure what uses this. I'm guessing it's probably some sort of like light bar or something like that. All you have to do, cut the head off, crimp the wires together. I didn't have any heat shrink laying around when I built this like 6 months ago, so I just taped it. I'm probably going to take that off and heat shrink it at some point just for making it look nice. But yeah, all you do is that. You run the ground wire. I did it right to the strut tower where the other ground wire to the block is going. Then I did the positive feed right down here. What's super cool about this little brick, you can just kind of keep adding things. There is a point where you probably don't want to keep adding. I'm sure once you put like, I don't know, 10 different things going off it, you might want to settle down. But for right now, sorry, I just realized that it wasn't pointing at that the whole time because I was trying to grab this. Yeah, but other than that, it's a super easy install. I'm just going to snake that wire through the firewall, and we're probably going to be about done for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to put that crank sensor on because the car does seem to be cranking a lot easier now that that sensor is clean. but I still think that it probably just failed. It's 25 years old. Well, actually, I don't know if that sensor was 25 years old, just because the bolt on it was replaced with a metric instead of Allen bolt, so could have been messed with at some point. I'm also wondering, under previous ownership, if this motor was rebuilt at some point. I don't know if that's factory, but I've never seen red gasket sealer on a BMW motor from the factory. But who knows? That might just be some M42 things. So I'm probably going to close it out with that and just run that wire through the thing, but you don't need to see that. You'll see that in the next video. So yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day.